Hello everyone, it's my pleasure to welcome you to this exclusive IBT Thought Leadership session with Pushkar Mukherwar, who is the co-founder and CEO of Drip Capital. He is responsible for defining the strategic direction and managing the product, business development, and operations of the company. In his 13-year-long career, he has worked across various geographies and has an in-depth understanding of the global financial services industry. Pushkar realized the huge potential of addressing the working capital gap for small businesses in emerging economies, and this became his inspiration behind starting Drip Capital in 2016. The company offers a unique trade financing product targeted towards small businesses that are engaged in cross-border trade by making the underwriting and financing of international B2B transactions seamless. Today, we will be discussing with him the major credit related challenges faced by Indian exporters, how they impact exports, and how Drip Capital provides viable solutions. Hi, Pushkar, and welcome to this IBT Thought Leadership session today, where we plan to discuss with you credit issues which are being faced by Indian exporters.
Great. Glad to be part of this session.
Okay. So, Pushkar, I would like to start by asking you, what is the importance of adequate and timely credit availability? Obviously, it's important for businesses in general, but how does it become especially important for exports as opposed to businesses that are just operating in the domestic market?
Yeah. So I would say that importance of sort of adequate, timely credit is kind of well established for small, medium-sized businesses generally, and many of these small businesses face challenges when it comes to adequate credit and timely credit. I think the challenge is exacerbated when it comes to exports, because when you think about a typical working capital cycle of an exporter, right? They get an order from an overseas buyer, takes them another like maybe 30 to 45 days to manufacture the goods, ship them out. Then you have a transit time, which is not prevalent in case of domestic transactions, but the goods once shipped may take 30, 45, 60 days to get to the destination country. And then after that, the buyer would typically make the payment to them, post 30 days or so, right? So it's a very long working capital cycle, and hence access to credit becomes all the more important for these exporters. And I think the challenge is probably like more when an SME is exporting as compared to when they are selling domestically.
Right. So, Pushkar, what do you say would be the major challenges faced by Indian exporters in accessing credit for their business, and in which parts of their operations is credit needed most of all?
Sure. So I would say that credit is needed, depending on the kind of firm, right? If it's a manufacturer, then they would require credit, or they would require capital to set up their manufacturing plant. So there's a capital requirement for that. If it's a trading entity, then typically capital is predominantly required as working capital for them to basically manage their payables and receivables, right? Their working capital cycle. In terms of being able to access credit, I would say that most SMBs face challenges along a couple of dimensions. First is that when it comes to them applying to traditional lending institutions or banks, most of the banks require the financials, tax returns of the SMBs to be in a certain format, to be kind of to be, I would say, bankable or bank credit worthy from the point of view of providing any kind of financing. And many SMBs, I would say, are not savvy enough to maintain their financials in a way which would make them appealing to get bank credit, right? I would say the second big challenge, which is very kind of prevalent, is the requirement for collateral. So almost all traditional lending institutions in the SMB segment would require hard collateral in the form of land, property, machinery as security. Only against that, banks would be comfortable providing any kind of credit or capital to the SMBs. And most of the SMBs either do not have any collateral or do not have adequate collateral to be able to get the kind of capital they require. And then I would say third challenge is, of course, the process which is followed in terms of applying for credit, going through a lot of paperwork, and the time required to get any kind of credit approval itself is long and tedious, which makes it also more difficult for these SMBs to get credit timely. So these would be basically the three challenges which I can see, like, are sort of impacting the SMB.
So, Pushkar, what are the constraints of banks and other financial institutions in India that prevent them from offering adequate credit to exporters? And in your view, what is the gap which we have currently in terms of what is required in terms of credit and what is actually available?
Sure. So I would say the constraints for banks are, really centered around being able to sort of finance small ticket transactions for these small businesses, right? And banks have a process which is manual and operationally intensive, and because of that, it makes it very difficult for them to profitably serve this segment, right? So that's where technology plays a big role. Traditionally also banks have had a predominant focus on corporates or companies which are larger. So when you think about, let's say, the export distribution of India, India exports around $300 billion annually, and almost half of the exports come from the small and medium sized segment, and half of it comes from the corporate segment. However, when you look at distribution of credit, almost 84% of bank credit goes to corporates, right? Which clearly means that only about 15% of bank credit is actually channeled towards SMBs, because that has not been traditionally a segment of focus for the banks. Certain reports and institutions estimate that the trade finance gap globally is almost $1.5 trillion. A lot of that gap comes from emerging markets like India and to some extent China as well. So based on our estimates, the trade finance gap in India is as high as $80 billion, which is currently not serviced well by like traditional lending institutions. And how it translates to like the impact it has is that a lot of the trade which supposedly should have happened kind of doesn't happen because of not having availability of credit, and this of course then translates into many of these SMBs not realizing their full potential, not being able to grow as much as they can potentially grow if they had access to credit. So these are the implications of some of the challenges of not having adequate credit.
Okay. So at this juncture, Pushkar, I would like to ask you what really inspired you to set up Drip Capital, and what kind of solutions does it offer to these SMEs, since we have established that there is a huge gap between demand and supply of credit.
So, the mission for Drip Capital is really to provide credit access to small and medium-sized businesses globally, which are engaged in cross-border trade. We started off in India as the first market, just given my background, having grown up in India. And I think growing up, I had firsthand seen the challenges which many small businesses face when it comes to access to credit. This, of course, as I mentioned, is exacerbated for cross-border trade, where wait times tend to be longer, working capital cycle tends to be longer. And that's why we decided to focus on a segment of the market. While India was the first market we launched in, I think the mission and the goal was always to build a global platform which can cater to the needs of small and medium-sized businesses around the world, not just India. And towards that end, we currently operate in multiple markets outside India as well. In terms of our solution, I think we are a tech-first company, and the idea is to provide a really great customer experience and address the issues which customers face when it comes to access to credit through traditional institutions. So our solution is easy to use, very quick turnaround times. We offer our solution through a web application and a mobile application. Of course, we have folks on the sales side also who talk to customers, educate them, get them onboarded onto the platform. But the idea is like, how can we make the experience of the customer really seamless and sort of create a wow experience for the customer. So when a customer applies to us, they typically get approved for a credit limit, and that credit limit, depending on the size and scale of the company, can vary between $100,000 to almost $2 million at the upper end. And the way they can avail that credit limit is that as and when they have shipment, they can basically submit that shipment to us for financing. And within 24 hours of them submitting the shipment, they would get 80% to 90% of the value of that invoice kind of deposited to their account, right? So for them, the advantage is that instead of waiting 60 or 90 days, which they typically do in the absence of drip, they can actually get paid as soon as they ship. And then, of course, this additional capital can be then used towards shipping out more orders, paying off their suppliers, just growing their business. So that's how our solution works, and that's how we are sort of bridging the gap.
So, what are the major risks that Indian exporters face in international trade, and what mechanisms are available in India to help them cover these risks at present, and what more do you think needs to be done to secure them?
Sure. So I would say that as far as international trade is concerned, there are various risks which the exporters have to manage as they kind of, sell to international customers. So typically, the first challenge which they have is just like delays in payments, right? They of course typically end up kind of bridging that gap or bridging that challenge through some sort of financing, whether it's some sort of post-shipment financing, right? The second risk which exporters worry about is just a buyer default risk, right? So you've shipped the goods to the buyer, and maybe when the due date comes, the buyer does not have the cash flow to be able to the exporter, right? And this is where trade credit insurance plays a big role. In India, ECGC is the apex body which has been working very closely with exporters throughout the country, and providing them credit protection, which basically gives them the assurance that in case the buyer defaults, the exporter would get compensated through the insurance provider, right? I think one of the areas which the government is, I believe, actively looking at is how to also have private credit insurance companies directly sell to the exporters. And of that, I think, of course, while private credit insurance companies do operate in India, I think the challenge is that their focus is not as much on the SMB segment again. They also end up typically working mostly with larger corporates, right? So how can policies be revised to make it attractive for these private credit insurance companies to support SMBs? I think is a step which I think is important from a longer term standpoint, right? Beyond this, I think there are issues around buyer fraud or commercial disputes. I would say that the exporter, of course, at the end of the day, has to kind of do their own diligence in terms of really starting out with buyers with like a couple of sample shipments, clearly establishing what are the quality parameters which the buyer is looking for, and then ensuring that there is some objective way of assessing the shipment for those quality parameters. I think one of the challenges we see amongst our customer base as well is that exporters and buyers oftentimes don't have tight contracts. When particularly the SMB segment, right, the buyer would place an order over email, but then the terms of the trade in terms of what quality is expected, that is not clearly established. And then sometimes that results in genuine disputes, and sometimes you also run into fraudulent buyers who raise a dispute just in order to get out of paying the exporter, right? So then doing the diligence on the buyer and establishing good quality and strong contracts is, I think, again, important. Beyond that, I would say competition from other countries. This is again another challenge which exporters face. See, when it comes to a small business selling domestically, they are oftentimes competing only with other businesses within that geography, typically, right? So you're based in Gujarat, you're selling to a buyer in Gujarat, oftentimes you're only competing with other Gujaratis, other sellers in that market. But when it comes to international trade, I think the whole kind of world opens up, and you may be competing with another manufacturer from Bangladesh or from Vietnam, who may have to have like a very different cost structure, very different duty structure, which makes it challenging for the exporter to then compete on price in the overseas market. So I would say that international trade, while of course attractive, of course the exporter does have to deal with a fair number of risks and challenges. And I think just thinking through those challenges and ensuring that right mitigants are in place is important.
So finally, Pushkar, I would like to ask you, what would be the positive impact if we make adequate credit available to our exporters? And what would be the positive impact on exports, and which sectors do you see benefiting the most, which are currently in need of this credit?
I would say that availability of adequate credit and fixing the credit problem for SMBs would be critical in order for us to realize the $1 trillion export economy goal, which Honorable Commerce Minister has highlighted as something we need to strive for. Some data points we have is that, if you look at MSME export growth in the last 5 years or so, MSME exports has grown at 5 to 7% year on year. But when we look at our set of customers who work with us and we've been able to provide them adequate credit, we've seen these customers grow at upwards of 13, 14, 15%. So we do believe that if adequate credit is more widely made available to the SMB segment of the market, we will probably see many of these SMB exporters performing at their full potential, and achieving that $1 trillion export goal becomes more of a reality in that scenario. In terms of sectors which I believe require this credit and the problem is more acute, mostly sectors which are labor intensive, sectors where SMBs dominate. Those are the sectors which I would definitely believe are getting more impacted. So, for example, ready-made garments is one such sector where most of the ready-made garment exporters in India are typically SMBs with turnovers less than 150 crores or so. And that sector also is because it's labor intensive. Most of the customers have to have a manufacturing unit, and they are working with buyers who are usually large retail chains in US, Europe, etc., who typically have payment terms which are quite long, right? So the customer ships from India, and the buyer would typically have a payment term which would be 90 or 120 days from the shipment date. So those are the sectors where credit access becomes more challenging, and also are sectors where credit access is more of a requirement. So I would say that, those are some of the sectors which would definitely benefit from having more adequate credit.
Thank you, Pushkar, for interacting with us today. And you mentioned some very useful data points, especially with labor-intensive sectors, which are critical to our GDP as well as employment growth. And it's really nice to see companies like you playing a role and showing the way in which we can, facilitate the access to credit for our exporters and make them, achieve the potential the way they should. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for having me on this session, and I really enjoyed talking to you, and glad I could be part of this. Thank you.
Thank you.